didn't think I was calling too late. Although, maybe you just didn't pick up because you saw it was me.
Okay, welcome back to another one of my interesting little videos. I've decided that I am going to do, I'm going to be doing like a little bit of rating, talking about, certain movies. In 2021, I went through a big, huge movie phase, and I would watch so many in a month, and I figured I would start a series of me actually talking about them and letting you know what I thought about them, whether they were good or bad, or, just what makes a movie good or not, And it is a very, broad spectrum of what's good and what isn't, because everyone has different tastes. What one person will like and enjoy, another person is gonna absolutely hate and think it's terrible. It's just, being human, having differences. So, the first movie I had watched in January of 2021 was Logan Lucky, and it is directed by Steven Soderbergh. It stars Channing Tatum as Jimmy, Adam Driver as Clyde, Riley Keough as Melly, Daniel Craig as Joe, David Denman, Moody, Katie Holmes, Bobby Joe, Seth MacFarlane, Max, Jack Quaid, and Hilary Swank as the detective. Basically, the synopsis, short, sweet, to the point, and to not, spoil anything. Two brothers attempt to pull off a heist during a NASCAR race in North Carolina. What I really liked about the movie itself was the characters were colorful and creative, absolutely different. I loved how they were very true to the West Virginian aesthetic. And they did fairly decent with the accents too. I found it to be a very funny and charming movie. And the plot was just always so fun to just watch unravel, It was definitely an amazing movie. And I'm giving this one I gave it an 8 out of 10. I'm not sure why I gave it an 8 out of 10, because I think, honestly, now if I were to rate it again after watching it a few times since, I would give it a 10 out of 10, and I think that Clyde stole the show. 100%. The next movie that I watched after that was Knives Out, by Rian Johnson. That's the director. It stars Daniel Craig as Benoit, Chris Evans as Ransom, Anna de Armas as Marta, Jamie Lee Curtis, Linda, Michael Shannon as Walt, Don Johnson as Richard, Toni Collette as Joni, Lakeith Stanfield as Detective Elliot, or Lieutenant, yeah, I think he's a lieutenant, Christopher Plummer as Harlan, Catherine Langford as Meg, and Jaden Martell as Jacob. And the short, sweet synopsis of this is: a detective investigates the death of the patriarch of an eccentric, combative family. Once again, the characters are absolutely so vast and different, and they're just so lively. It's just such an interesting family. I love how colorful their personalities all, seem to be. They shine through. And there's constant twists resulting in a satisfying plot ending. I have to say it is just absolutely satisfying to watch. It's absolutely hilarious. There's so many hilarious parts. I also think that I have a little crush on Miss DeArmas, who plays Marta. I think she's absolutely adorable. And as weird as this sounds, I actually found her friendship, Marta and Harlan's friendship, to be so adorable and so endearing. And I'm just like, you know what? If they fell in love, I wouldn't care. I don't care. They could totally be together. But I think Benoit and Marta stole the show. And I gave Knives Out a 10 out of 10, and that still stands true to this day. The next movie I watched after that was Me, Myself, and Irene, and it is directed by Bobby and Peter Farrelly. It stars Jim Carrey as Charlie / Hank, Renee Zellweger as Irene, Anthony Anderson as Jamal, Jared Mixon as Shantae Jr., Chris Cooper as Gerke, and Robert Forster as Partington. The short, sweet synopsis, can't even talk. The short and sweet synopsis on this is a nice guy cop with a dissociative identity disorder must protect a girl on the run from her ex and his accomplices. This movie is very funny. I don't think it is Jim's best, but it is something that will keep you giggling at how ridiculous the whole thing is. I do also feel it is definitely an inaccurate portrayal of dissociative identity disorder. But, I guess, that's kind of what you get with comedic movies. They take their own spin on certain things. So, I mean, as though it's very inaccurate. I think that was one of the downsides. But then again, I mean, I don't know. That could just be my opinion. The plot itself was very fun. I did enjoy the plot. And I honestly think that Shantae Jr. stole the show in his little tiny parts. I just absolutely loved little Shantae Jr. I don't know why. And I think Hank sometimes stole the show too. Even though, you wanted to hate him, you loved to hate him, so. And I gave Me, Myself, and Irene a 7 out of 10. The movie I watched after that is This Is 40. It is directed by Judd Apatow. It stars Paul Rudd as Pete, Leslie Mann as Debbie, Maud Apatow as Sadie, Iris Apatow as Charlotte, Jason Segel as Jason, and Megan Fox as Desi. The short, sweet synopsis of this is a couple, both about to turn 40. Their lives are falling apart, and they must come to terms with it all. And it's sort of a spin-off of Knocked Up. Katherine Heigl's sister, which was Leslie's Mann character, Debbie. It is the continuation of Debbie and her husband and kids' story. And I did thoroughly enjoy this movie. I think Debbie stole the show 100%. I found it to be very funny. I did like the serious notes in it because, it made it very realistic. And that's my next point. It's a very realistic family dynamic. And, it kept me very interested. And I wanted to know how it was going to go in the end. And I'm a very big fan of Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann anyway, because they're just so great. And I like Jason Segel too, but I really like Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann. So I give This Is 40 an 8 out of 10. The next movie I watched was The Skeleton Twins, directed by Craig Johnson. It stars Bill Hader as Milo, Kristen Wiig as Maggie, Luke Wilson as Lance, and Ty Burrell as Rich. The short, sweet synopsis, that is becoming very hard to say. Cheating death the same day, twins reunite hoping to... wow, I can't even read my own writing. Cheating death the same day, twins reunite hoping to mend the relationship. I find that the characters are very, very relatable. The plot is very interesting, keeps your eyes on the screen. You know, you want to care about these siblings, and you end up caring about these kids. I feel like the relationships are very believable, and it makes you feel something at the end of the day. I also believe that Milo stole the show. And I gave the Skeleton Twins a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed watching the Skeleton Twins. The next movie is Horns, directed by Alexandre Aja. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It stars Daniel Radcliffe as Ig, Max Minghella as Lee, Leslie, Joe Anderson as Terry, Juno Temple as Marin, and Heather Graham as Veronica. The short, sweet synopsis is: in the aftermath of his girlfriend's mysterious death, a man awakes to horns growing from his forehead. The plot absolutely sucks you in. You want to know why the horns are coming out of his head. You want to know what happened with the girlfriend. I absolutely enjoyed it, and even its little aesthetic with it. I'm guessing it was the lighting that they used, and the characters and how they dressed them. The setting of the town, I don't know. I just really fell in love with this movie a lot. And the ending is very interesting. I was pretty happy with the ending too. I think that Ig stole the show, and I gave Horns a 9. I gave Horns a 10 out of 10. I was very happy with that. The next movie I watched is Cam, and it is directed by Daniel Goldhaber. It stars Madeline Brewer as Alice/Lola, Patch Dara as Tinker, and Melora Walters as Lynn. The short, sweet synopsis is: a cam girl wakes to find an exact replica of herself replace her on her own cam channel. I found this movie to be very confusing. It does keep you wondering. That's exactly why I finished it, because I was just wondering, what's going on. But it was definitely very confusing. The ending was not satisfying whatsoever. But I'm just gonna say Lola stole the show, apparently. And if you watch the movie, you'll definitely understand why I say that. And I gave this movie a 5 out of 10. The movie I watched was a.c.o.d, which stands for A Child of Divorce. It is directed by Stuart Zeikerman. It stars Adam Scott as Carter, Richard Jenkins as Hugh, Catherine O'Hara as Melissa, Amy Poehler as Sandra, Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Lauren, Clark Duke as Trey, Jane Lynch as Dr. Judith, and Jessica Alba as Michelle. The short, sweet synopsis is: a man stuck between his parents' 15-year divorce finds out he was part of a study on divorced family children and is enlisted on a follow-up wreaking havoc on his family. I absolutely love Adam Scott and Catherine O'Hara. That's mainly why I watched this movie. Some of the characters annoyed me. But I guess that was the point of the whole thing. I did like this movie. There were moments of it that kind of lulled a little bit, but in the end, it was one that I did enjoy. I gave it a 7 out of 10. But in all honesty, if somebody was like, hey, you want to watch it again? I would be like, I don't know, maybe, if there's literally nothing else to watch right now. So, yeah, I gave a.c.o.d a 7 out of 10. The next movie I watched was To the Stars. It is directed by Martha Stevens. It stars Kara Hayward as Iris, Jordana Spiro as Francie, Malin Ackerman as Grace, Tony Hill as Gerald, and Liana Liberato as Maggie. The short, sweet synopsis is: a quiet girl forges an intimate friendship with a worldly but reckless new girl in 1960s Oklahoma. This movie was very relatable. It was very cute. I loved their friendship. I liked the accuracy of a young queer girl in the 60s having to face that part of herself and have to face her parents. And I wish the ending would have been a little different, but I definitely thought their friendship was endearing and adorable. I did enjoy this movie. I gave it an 8 out of 10, and I think Maggie stole the show. The next movie I watched, and the final one for this list of January 2021, I watched Love and Monsters, and it is directed by Michael Matthews. It stars Dylan O'Brien as Joel, Jessica Henwick as Amy, Michael Rooker as Clyde, Ariana Greenblatt as Minnow. The short, sweet synopsis of this is: 7 years after a monster apocalypse, Joel leaves his underground bunker to reunite with his ex. I thought this movie was so cute. And I didn't even want to really watch this movie in the first place because it just did not seem like my kind of movie. And I ended up watching it and absolutely loving it. I love the meaningful relationships in it. I love how deep and how deeply and how much Joel cares about his friends and Amy and what he would go through to take care of everyone that he cares about. And I absolutely loved Michael Rooker's character and the little girl Minnow. They were just definitely my favorite characters. But to be honest, who stole the show for me was definitely the dog and the robot. And I gave Love and Monsters a 10 out of 10. So I highly recommend watching all of these movies, even the one that I rated sort of low, just to see, what your take on it is, if you enjoy it, if you understand it, because, maybe I'm just not grasping the ending like I should. I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be making this is definitely going to end up being a series because, yes, I did get to a point where I sort of stopped watching movies for a long time. And then I would pick one up every now and then. But I'm trying my best to get back into the swing of it, because it is something I'm very passionate about. It is something I love very deeply, something I hold very dear to my heart. It makes me happy. It's just really enjoyable. It's fun. Movies are great. Movies are fun. And I want to talk about them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys will come back for the next episode. Thank you.